What is up, T Raiders, and welcome back to the channel. So today we've titled the video Patience Pays. So if you trade penny stocks, if you trade OTC, really if you trade anything, depending on the type of market, could be choppy, could be low volume, could have manipulation. So it's important to really be strategic in your stocks. Look for the ones you're going to swing long, look for the ones that you're going to accumulate. So that's the main purpose that we do. Or I do, I guess I'd say, but I have a lot of friends that do the same thing. We play catalysts. You can play volume, you can play news runners, due diligence, whatever it may be. But the biggest thing is, you need to know about the chart. You need to have patience. You need to understand if your stock has zero catalysts, it's probably not going anywhere for a while. So, you want to wait for it to kind of simmer down, find the bottom, and then just start to accumulate. And that's what we do. That's what we did. And, we're going to show a couple examples today. Plus, we're going to talk about a few other stocks as well. But the biggest thing is, we're going to do a recap of last week's video. We talked about GEGI, we talked about DVLP, we talked about GEGP. So, we know those three were hot. GEGP had that merger come out, and while it fizzled off, it's because they don't have active management. So, if these mergers are going to happen, they have to be active on social media or people will lose interest. That's just the way it is. You cannot convince me or anybody else it's going to be different. And trading penny stocks is volatile. It can be stressful and give you anxiety. I mean, I'm pretty sure every week I do a new video. Every day I trade, I grow more gray hair in my chin. So, I have my silver fox chin. But, being, late 30s, it's like, man, penny stocks they're fun, but, they could provide a lot of stress. So I won't bore you guys that too much. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. All right. So let's get into it. So like I said, we're going to do a recap of the last video. We're not going to talk about GEGP. It had the news come out the next day. It immediately sold off and end of story. People just didn't like it, and it happens. But, we had our two big swings. We've talked about a few others, and one of them is DVLP. So as you can see here on the chart, we were scooping 50s. We bought a bunch of 40s, and it's just been riding the 8MA all the way up. It has a golden cross coming, 50 over 200. Accumulation's actually looking good for the stock. It has had a little bit of dilution, or else it'd probably already be at a penny right now. But the thing you want to look at is, the resistance here that comes across at 80, it had issues with that before, but it's also having issues with that again. As you can see, these wicks come up here and touch 80, but it just can't close above that. So if the company is smart, and I'll show you what they said, that they will actually drop the news in segments. I mean, we could really juice this one to new highs. It could see penny break, it could see much further. It has a gorgeous share structure. But really, they've noted 2 acquisitions coming. Next week they have several PRs, possible, 8Ks as needed and so forth. So, it's been looking great. But that's the thing is, like, you want to be patient with these. If there is a stock, and I'll post it here, where we were buying 50s, hey, in 2 weeks, there is news. This stock might not run 300%, but if you want gains, you play catalysts and you see it through. If you flip tick and, you're like, oh, it went 50 to 60, that's great. Get your profits, but the meat always comes in the final week of the swing. That's when the most involved really starts to come in. But you can see here that they stated at the end of July, so it hasn't, what's been 2 weeks. Update 1 of 3, closing date on our first 8-figure acquisition is set for August 18th. That is just a few days away. Could be extended for some required filings. And then number 2, second acquisition closing date is set to close soon as well. Our intentions are close to close it as soon as possible. Just phenomenal. And then update 3, a bright future ahead. Our goals and roadmap for 2022 have not changed a bit. 100 million more updates to come. And then as you can see, West Coast closer Matt Riv, he put it the roadmap basically saying, these are the steps we're going through. And then, this is what we want to accomplish. And then on Friday, they hit it with 1 or 2 PRs planned for next week, 8Ks as needed. So this has definitely been a good one. It's just been grinding beautifully, looking at the chart. You know, it's just riding the 8MA. We have Golden Cross coming. So what I would like to see is I would like to see it punch and close through 80 and then work its way up to a penny plus. So we'll see how much action it gets tomorrow. And, you know, of course, it's a penny stock. You know, I'm not a financial advisor. There's always going to be risk involved. But, you know, if you are looking for a dip, you know, it has wicked and tested the 8MA a few times. So we're at 70s now. So, you know, 65. I mean, if you can get 60s again before news comes, that'd be solid. But I'm hoping we work towards 80, punch through 80, and then get that close above 80, and then, you know, start moving a little bit further, because you could see it's been tough resistance in the past. But it's just been a fun stock. I mean, it always is. You know, it makes big runs in the past. You know, it does tend to taper off. But as you can see here, boom, boom. But this one's different. This one has just been climbing. You know, it didn't get that news and sell-off. It's just been, you know, ramping up. So keep an eye on that one. You know, we talked about it in the last video. You know, there is more risk up here than there was last week, especially with news coming. You know, depending on when they drop the news. If they say, hey, here's a PR, 8K tomorrow. Next news on Friday, this could just blast and take off. So looking at the RSI, it's, you know, 70s. It's in the heat zone, but it's not too hot yet. And then next one we're going to talk about is GEGI. Same thing, you know, buying 20s, buying 30s. You know, it didn't matter, because even if they had a little bit of dilution, or, you know, whatever it was, even if it had zero dilution, this thing was just simmering in the 20s and slowly grinding its way up. And the thing with this stock is nobody really knows. So, you know, you can look at a lot of people on Twitter, you know, Big Blue, he's got a lot of speculation DD out there. I mean, there's a lot of things circling because of what they've done recently, and, you know, looking at their Twitter. So, you know, had their change of control. They finally got pink current in August, and then it's just been a slow grind since then. And then GEGI was able to secure 2 former consultants from KPMG and PwC to help advise and ensure GEGI is compliant with their markets. Their willingness to take the stock, good evidence that they believe in what we are putting together. More to come. And then also look for news to come, more to come. So, you know, looking at the chart, you know, if you draw a trend line here, you know, it's starting to pull up from here, but as you can see, 0036, you know, should be new support, 8MA, and then right below at 31, then we have 25. So being in 40s here, same thing we talked about with DVLP. You know, the 005 range has been tough in the past. You know, wicked up here, but, you know, couldn't get the close. But same thing, this one's a little bit different. It's grinding up. So people are holding this one longer. They are accumulating and just letting it ride. So being that they've hired tons of consultants, you know, a lot of people with good backgrounds, you know, they might bring in a bunch of mergers, acquisitions. So we really want to see it unfold. So right now it is a good speculation that people are just holding on to. They're saying, hey, this could be a good one. It's a good share structure. You know, we're letting it ride. You know, companies becoming active. They are pink current now, which was a big hinder to them. But now that they are pink, you know, everybody's a little bit more relaxed. So loving that one so far. You know, we'll see what they continue with. And then, you know, next one we're going to cover is HIRU. This is probably one of my best ones of the year. You know, we were buying teens, and it went up to 008. Unfortunately, I only had like 15% left by that point, because, you know, I do risk management, won't always cut all, but it's a trim on the way up. And then if you do have a big dip, you can re-add, and that's exactly what I did. So as you can see here, you know, boom, 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 you know, it's getting hot, RSI oversold, but now we have this nice wedge forming, and then right in this, you know, above 50s, right around 60, this whole jumbled range here is where the 2 current MAs are. Accumulations look really good, you know, MACD's definitely faltering, but, you know, they definitely need some volume. But what HIRU is just accomplishing is great. I love this company so much. So, starting with WSO in September, PO from Walmart in September. We're working on purchasing new lines to fill these orders, square foot in the works, and next, you know, share cancellations this week. And then 73 million shares confirmed, TA to cancel. You know, boom, getting it done. And then here we go, filling new orders, warehouse is full. Enjoy the pictures. So they are ramping up. Management is awesome. IR is awesome. The business plan is awesome. They are working with Walmart. They're expanding. They want to get more acquisitions on board. And a lot of those catalysts are in September. So looking at the chart here, you know, if you can see the support here, I mean, if it falls back to 48, I'll buy a lot. You know, I'm not telling you to, but it could be a good one. But, you know, as you can see, if you follow this trend line here, you know, I think we might see low 60s again just because of volume. You know, if we do dip into 50s one more time, as you can see, it's wicked here below 55 a couple times. So that might be the primo place to add. But, you know, with all those catalysts coming, you know, it kind of reminds me of GEGI, where, hey, you know, scoop that bottom, 55 wicks. If you can sit around that area all week and just collect, and then once they start hammering, Walmart, WSO, and all the acquisitions going in September, rocket ship. I think we're going to see new highs on this one this year. So it's definitely one of my favorite longs. Loving it. So we'll keep rolling with that one. And then, so the next one we're going to talk about is a goodie, INTK. Everybody's really excited about this one. So, it had that long bleed. They had a lot of unrestricted get sold into. They had, some debt to churn through, some loans and so forth. And, but they've been kind of moving up the chart. So as you can see here, a slow grind. Yeah, it popped up. Here we go, popped up. But, all these MAs that are jumbled, these moving averages, above 1 should have new support over a penny. So I'll put here, I got lucky. I don't know what happened, but I scored some 60s. Unfortunately, it wasn't many. But, I did average up some. I did buy some, at the penny range. But I think my average now is right around 0081 again. So, I'm definitely swinging this one longer. I don't need to sell it. I can just let it ride. If it does fall back down to my average, then I'll assess there. But, what's cool is, a subsidiary Cinefx signs agreement with Lowe's. So they have Lowe's, and then the sustainable projects with NEM contacted INTK this week. So we're going out. So the shareholder event is moved to 8/24. So there usually swings pretty good into shareholder events. But also, if you're not following Cinefx here, so they're the ones that have been kind of doing some teasers. So definitely follow them too. We're absolutely thrilled to make this announcement. There's so much more to come. Then you see Dubai, you see INTK. We're filled with gratitude. So I think they're going to start really launching some things going on here. But what's cool about this one and why I wanted to cover it is their quarterly report. So as you can see here, going from quarter to quarter, but we're going to talk about last year as well. From total assets, 3 million, 6 million, cash has gone up, accounts receivable has gone up, the assets have gone up. Now, liabilities have increased some, but a lot of that has to do with, and I'll put it up here on the screen, is they're issuing shares to consultants. They are hiring like crazy. And, in order to hire people, whether it's sales reps, executives, marketing team, they have to pay them. They're not going to do it for free. So, while liabilities are increasing, assets should continue to increase as they are selling. If they have tons of people in the field just ripping contracts, I think it's going to be a big bright one next year as all these contracts come to fruition and you see the numbers from Lowe's, you see Dubai, and everything they're accomplishing. So they are getting hot and a lot more people are noticing it. So, low penny is a solid place to add for a stock that's been, 05 plus. So, if we go back to 05 this year, early next year, it's 500%. Doesn't have to happen overnight. Like the slow grinders, continue to accumulate. Awesome. And then looking at last year's, end of year, they had nothing. December 31st, 2020, and then December 1st, 2021, total assets 350,000. So nothing, but they still had a lot of liabilities that they had to churn through. But looking at that to now, it's drastic increase. So they are getting it done. It is taking some time. This is a company you're investing in. It is not something you are trying to trade overnight. And, when I talk about swing plays, you want to swing into the catalyst. You can always keep some, whether it's 50, 25%. If you want to keep it all, that's great. But understand the risk at if, the news hits and it does sell off, you lost your profit. So, you always want to trim up. And that way, even if you're long, you hold half, it does come back down. Re-add that half, and now you have more shares than you started, and then do the same thing. And I know a few people that only trade a few stocks and they'll just trade them through news and re-add for support and so forth. But I definitely think INTK is starting to heat up, and we'll see, what Stuart starts delivering. Maybe it's a few jet skis, maybe he's on his yacht somewhere, closing some more deals. But I'm ready for it. It's going to be fun. So last one I'm going to talk about today is apty, APTY. So the thing with apty is it has a great shareholder base. They've taken some time and to what they want to do with their Spera and, their coin and Verifunder and all of these items. I mean, especially with the white paper, these things take time. It's not going to happen overnight. But APTY has a history of flying over 01. It loves to grind into 01, 70s, 50s, but as you can see, it had its stairway down, and then it churned here is, I started adding around 0027, grabbed a lot of 0225, grabbed some 024, so I think my average is like 26. But I knew to myself, I said, okay, this is a good company. Accumulation is solid. I mean, solid, even with the amount of debt they have. You know, even if they dilute or, you know, churn off small by small, but dilute, it doesn't look like they're diluting at all. Accumulation looks solid, looks a little choppy, but, you know, being down here in the 3s, accumulation is basically the same it was in the 7, the 8. So, you know, you have manipulation and so forth, but, you know, channel broke out, and then now we have 003, 0031 is new support, and then, you know, if we break the 0043 range, you know, it can really start going, you know, back up to the 5s, the 7s, the 8s, the penny. But what's cool about APTY is, you know, they stated during the summer people are away on boards, you know, less meeting impacts timelines and negotiation. That was August 4th. Then what really caught my eye was we were working on a truly golden opportunity that we cannot wait to share. So that's when apty really started just to start getting the juice. You know, it moved back into 30s, and then, you know, they hit it Friday with the marketing team has been in the huddle all week, and we think you're going to love it. Cannot wait to reveal. So there's some exciting things going on behind the scenes. You know, looking back at the chart here, you know, if you're able to get low 30s, like this could be a steal. So, you know, I'm riding this one into the sunset. Same thing. It doesn't have to happen overnight. So these are all great swing plays that we've talked about. You know, and that's why I try and break out the difference. You know, if a stock has news in the morning and nobody's in it, it's probably going to sell off. So you can ride that stock, you know, and say, oh yeah, awesome, made some extra profits, as everybody would. And then, you know, you want to really put the money into your swings, ones that are going to accumulate and grind up into news like APTY is. So, you know, just covering through DVLP, it's been an absolute monster. Loving it, riding the 8MA. You know, we have Golden Cross coming, and then GEGI, can't say enough about it. We'll see what they can deliver, if they're going to have acquisitions, they're going to have mergers, but, you know, definitely exciting times ahead. But, you know, same thing, it's a slow grinder, so, you know, find a good entry and just, you know, let it ride. And then HIRU. Love it, love it, love it. You know, especially heading into September, I think they're going to start dropping some big news. INTK, steel down here, you know, around a penny, you know, especially with Dubai coming. They have the shareholder event and so forth. And then, you know, you just can't beat it. I mean, you know, with the assets they've increased, you know, I want to see the third quarter ramp up a little bit more, as they did say revenue should be pretty high this year. So we'll see if all those salespeople can come through. And then APTY, probably the best bottom out there, you know, in 20s. It was just absolutely crazy as this stock runs. How many times it ran over a penny? What, 1, 2? You know, let me know in the comments. If you're an apty fan, how many times has this stock moved over 01? I think it's at least 3. But, you know, it usually hovers around 007 plus. So, you know, you could see 100% from here in the next month, you know, if they start hammering out news. So I absolutely love this one going forward. So, you know, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You know, drop me some comments what you're looking at for next week. You know, I know a lot of people are talking about HVCW. They had a huge merger, so I'm definitely keeping an eye on that one as well. You know, shoot like on the video, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.